What if you had access to the secrets of true prosperity? What if there were a manual hidden for centuries, written by the wisest man who ever lived? Dear friend, this manual exists, and it was written by King Solomon, the wisest man to ever walk the earth, a manual for winning in life, achieving prosperity, and accessing wealth and wisdom. Solomon wrote the book of Proverbs, and within it are the secrets for making the right decisions, avoiding unnecessary pain, and attaining true prosperity. If you continue to ignore this wisdom, you will repeat the same mistakes. But if you choose to follow this path today, your life can change radically. The answer you're seeking is ready, and it was written thousands of years ago. But believe me, it feels like it was written yesterday. I invite you to discover this manual today. The choice is yours now. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe and activate notifications so you can be alerted to upcoming videos. Let's get to the video. King Solomon became known as the wisest and most prosperous man who ever lived, from the beginning of time until today. He reflected on life, on men and their ways, and decided to leave a legacy, a book that would guide generations, a map for anyone who wanted to find the true treasure, wisdom. And thus was born the book of Proverbs, to learn wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight, to receive instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair. But Solomon knew the first lesson had to be as clear as the morning light. He wrote, Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Imagine a young traveler. He comes across two paths. One seems easy, filled with parties and cheerful voices. The other is silent, requires effort, courage, and faith. Which path will he choose? Many choose the wide path without considering where it leads, but the wise stop, reflect, and seek to hear the voice of the Lord. Even today, we face these two paths every day, in work, in friendships, in small and big decisions. To fear the Lord, respect His principles and trust in Him is to choose the path that seems harder, but leads to true life. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother, for they will be a graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck. Proverbs 1:8-9. Solomon spoke to his children, but he also speaks to us. There was a young man named Eliabe. He was intelligent, strong, and full of dreams, but he despised the advice of his parents and the elders. He said, I know what I'm doing. He followed the path of haste, excessive ambition, and dishonesty. At first he prospered, but soon he lost everything. His friends betrayed him, his businesses collapsed, and his soul was empty. Only then, humbled, did he remember the words of wisdom he had ignored. How many Eliabs are there today, running, trusting in themselves, and despising the wisdom that comes from God? The beginning of wisdom is not knowing many things. It is not conquering wealth. It is not being admired. The beginning of true wisdom is recognizing that God is Lord, and that without Him, all knowledge is empty. This is the first lesson Solomon wants to teach us. The journey is just beginning. Prepare your heart, for on the following pages of this book, we will find the deepest secrets for a wise, just, and fulfilling life. The voice of wisdom cries out in the streets. Proverbs 1. In ancient Jerusalem, the streets were always filled with people. But among the hustle and bustle, there was a different voice, a voice no one could see, but everyone could hear. It was the voice of wisdom. Wisdom did not speak quietly. It cried out in the streets. It shouted in the squares. It raised its voice. At the corners, at the doors of houses. It was not hard to hear, but who was listening? Proverbs 1:20. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the open squares. Imagine the streets of the city, Commerce happening, people running from one side to the other, busy with their daily tasks. But in the midst of all that, wisdom is there, making a clear call. "Here I am," it says. "Listen to me, for I have what you need most." But as always happens, many prefer to ignore that call. They are busy with what is immediate, with what seems important at that moment. They say, "Not now, maybe later." And wisdom, without losing patience, continues to cry out, but few pay attention. How long, you simple ones? Will you love simplicity? How long will scoffers delight in their scoffing and fools hate knowledge? Proverbs 1:22. Here is the crucial point. Wisdom does not remain silent. It does not hide. It is always within reach of those who want to listen, but it does not force anyone to follow it. It offers what is good and true, but it is up to each person to accept it. Wisdom warns about the dangers of following the wrong path. For those who stray from it, the consequences are harsh. It is not a punishment from a vengeful being, but the simple consequence of ignoring what is right. Proverbs 1:24-26. Because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no one regarded. Because you disdained all my counsel and would have none of my rebuke, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your terror comes. How many of us, at some point in life, found ourselves on the edge of a cliff, not seeing the signs that wisdom was giving us? The call of wisdom is to protect us, to prevent calamity from striking us by surprise. But sometimes pain is necessary to teach us, so we finally pay attention. However, even when the consequences come, there is always an opportunity. Wisdom is always there, waiting patiently, willing to offer advice and direction. For those who seek it with a sincere heart, it guides them to peace and prosperity. Proverbs 1:33. But whoever listens to me will dwell safely and will be secure without fear of evil. Those who listen to wisdom do not need to fear the storms of life. Like a firm anchor, it provides security in the midst of difficulties. The voice of wisdom continues to cry out today in our lives. It does not shout violently, but calls with sweetness, offering peace, security, and understanding. And are you listening? Are you ready to listen to it? Do not let the noise of life make you deaf to its call. In the next chapter, we will see how wisdom begins to reveal its greatest secrets, offering answers to the deepest questions of life. How are your challenges going? Have you ever had to choose between two paths? How did it go? Leave your comment and suggestions below. We want to hear from you. If you are already subscribed to the channel, activate the notifications. We have much to show you.